This is DMC Devil May Cry. Uh, I'm playing this on Xbox Series X. There has been no update for years for this game. So what I've decided is I'm gonna start these videos in a more structured. I'm gonna complete these videos in a bit more structured way. That came out wrong. First, I'm gonna talk about the history of the game, history which I personally have with this game. Then I'm going to talk about the presentation, then the combat, then the things it could have done better, and the sound design, if it's really good. And in this game, it's actually good. So, this is a DMC Definitive Edition. It is available both on Xbox and PlayStation. This was a remaster of DMC Devil May Cry from the 360 and the PS3 era. So let's get started. So I've actually 100%ed the main story. I'm currently playing on DMD just to unlock more skins and Dante must die. Okay, so which one should I go for? Hardcore mode. No, I think I'll just make it first with this. So, as you can see, I wasn't that good at this game back then. Okay, so basically what happened was, after Devil May Cry 4, which was a really good game, which was actually my first DMC game, but due to the lack of budget, many of the missions were reused. So and something happened, and they decided to just reboot the entire series. So and this task was given to Ninja Theory, the guys who made Lost Odyssey. And if you don't know Lost Odyssey, you must have definitely heard about uh, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. They made those game, which was probably Game of the Year for both 1 and 2. So this was given to them. They were specifically told to make this as different as possible. Now I know this game gets a lot of hate, and that is because people thought it was way too different. It was not the fault of the studios, guys. It was not the fault of Ninja Theory. Capcom wanted it to be completely different from what they already made. So hence, this is what we got. Now let me just show you. So, talking about the presentation, I must say, this game, there's something magical about this game. And when people say the graphics are not improving day by day, or they felt that 360 generation games looked better, they probably mean that games like these. Yes, maybe if you look close enough, the texture resolution is not super high, but it's not just everything has a super high frequency detail about it. Like there are different layers to this shed. Do you feel like there's a different layer of bricks? Even this glass window has tiny things on it. There's this gate, you can see the sky going on. There's a lot of moving particles in this game. I think that's what makes it more appealing. Hello viewer, thank you for watching. I was just talking about Devil May Cry, DMC Devil May Cry, and how it still looks amazing. Part of the reason is because when we see an image, at least in my image, we feel it is more interactive when there are a lot of moving parts. If an image is still, it doesn't look that appealing. Yes, it might have a really high resolution texture, but for a video game, the more something moves and the more stable it is while moving, it looks that much more engaging for us, at least for me. And this game, even if I'm standing still, look at the debris flowing from one side to another. Look at the skybox. It might be looped, I don't know, but it just keeps on moving, and you can see a silhouette or shadows of people who were supposed to be. A lot of moving parts, and and the fact that this doesn't look too far away from what we are used to right now is because of the art design. Art design is actually really important for game. Yes, you can have all the high resolution textures in the world. You can have the most advanced graphic card you have, but if you don't have a vision, if you don't have an idea of how a game should look, it'll just look like a plain old room or a plain old forest. The lighting has to be matched. The back in those days, they didn't have ray tracing on games, so they had to pre-calculate everything. So anything you see in this game is intentional. Uh, and the weird part is they used to make games much more faster, because I used to think that the whole purpose of having latest game engines was to make developing easier. But I think it's just taking more and more time. I mean, look at this game. This was probably made in like 2 3 years, maybe 3 years, I think. And back then, we used to have so many games in the 360 generation and the PlayStation generation. I don't know. For some reason, I'm not a game developer. I'm not a coding expert. I don't make game engines or I don't make games. I have no experience in it. But I feel like if game engines are becoming more friendly, it should be more easier to develop games, and the time taken to make games should be reduced. But it is not. So, enough about that. Let's get back to Devil May Cry. As I said, the presentation is 10 on 10, and every level is like this. It's not just a simple corridor or a simple this or simple that. Everything is completely stylized. Like it's a fusion between Alice in Wonderland. It's like a reimagination of Alice in Wonderland kind of game. So coming to the so let me just go here and talk about the combat next. Now, people criticized this combat system for being a bit too simple compared to all the Devil May Cry games. But how many of us really were that good to make use of all of the combos in Devil May Cry series, right? This one, it's a bit more simple. So this one, they made it a little bit more simple. So you can do much more cool combos and a bit more easier. The combat is like, I know I'm not making much sense. And like every Devil May Cry which kept on iterating on something. What this game did was, you can switch weapons in between combos and it'll continue that combo of that weapon. So what I'm saying is, let me show this. This is the normal combo of this weapon. But if I do this and then switch, as you can see, it goes on between the thing. Oh, I unlocked a new concept art. So, as I was saying, it's much more easier to do combos in this game. Like there's no, you don't have to press the lock on button for everything. Now, I just want to say, I like the older games better, or should I say the new Devil May Cry 5 game better than this, because it keeps you engaged a little bit more. But this one is, it's a perfect mix of a casual game and it's like a beginner's Devil May Cry game, because see, with just a press of a button B, you can launch your enemies in the air and shoot button as this, and by pressing two buttons X and A, you can do this, and then you can do this. Oh, and you can pull enemies towards you. And one of the interesting things which they did was this: in this game, Dante is actually and half angel and half demon. His father is still Sparta, who's a demon. His mother is an angel called Eve, unlike in the original game, where Sparta was a demon and Eve was a human. And for people who don't know who Eve is, he's the person who looks like Trish. So as I said, you can't switch, at least in the console versions. In order to change weapons, you have to hold down, like you just have a rebellion sword, and this sword actually transforms into an angel scythe if you press the angel mode, and demon axe if you press the demon mode. And most of your abilities change based on if you're in human mode, which is normal. I don't know why they call it human mode though, because he's definitely not human. But that aside, like for example, if I press, oh, this game has a dodge button. While in previous games you had to press lock on, sideways, and then A, and this game you can just press one button and it just dodges. So in normal mode, if you press dodge, he just goes back, and if you press forward, he dodges forward. You can dodge left and right based on your input. It's a 6-way system, I think. But if you press demon mode and dodge, you can actually do a perfect dodge. And what that gives you is it slows down your movement and it gives you a buff. It's a really powerful buff actually, but it just lasts like 2-3 seconds. So if you're an expert player, you can actually use this buff as many times as you want. And the cool thing is, in angel mode, you can actually use the trickster dash. And fun fact, in the original version of the game, I mean, if you still have the PC version, you can only dash once. This angel dash was actually a mod, but the developers liked it so much they actually included in this game. And another thing, so basically, if you want to understand human, angel, and demon mode, human mode is a mix between speed and power. Demon mode is slow but powerful. Angel mode is super fast, man. Like if you want, you can just complete the game with angel or human or any mode if you're good enough. Some interactivity in this place. Look at the high frequency detail. I just love this thing. Now, another thing which they did was they tried to, and since in previous games Dante had various different styles, they had to find a way. They didn't want to go back to DMC 1 or DMC 2, where Dante didn't have styles because it would take the gameplay a generation back. So they tried to incorporate it in various different ways. Like for example, a sword master. Okay, you don't actually have sword master, but instead, your B button is a launcher, and this, and different weapons do different things though. And another angel weapon is this. Another demon weapon is this. Mostly all of them are launchers. So, but for what do you call it? Gunslinger mode, this, if you press X to shoot, you can charge up your bullets. And if you want to do all those rainstorm abilities, all you have to do is press shoot button and jump at the same time. So while you're on the ground, you do a reverse rainstorm, and while you're on the air, you do the normal rainstorm. And the same goes for Coyote A. This is normal. And if you press shoot and A at the same time, so shoot and jump, you do this. Unfortunately, you can't do a stinger move, but you can try to do it actually. If you're good enough. But oh, and also his trickster move is basically all as angel mode, so you can do this cool thing where you go side to side. I don't know, it's just fun. It's like you're moving through space or something. It's cool. Oh, And they actually incorporated a little bit of Nero as well. So you have the streak move. Okay, why am I not? Oh, you have to lock on. So in the definitive edition, you can actually they introduce the lock on feature. In the original game, both the left and right bumper were dodges, but in the definitive edition, the right bumper is the lock on button actually. So if you press that and do this, you can do stinger, and if you mash that button, you can do million stabs. If you hold down the rebellion button, you can do drive. Oh, and this game introduced quick charge, like perfect charge mechanics. Like for example, if I charge it fully, you can see it's a bit of red and blue. But if I time it right, it's red. It's not just blue. Let me show you. So I fully charge it and then let go. It's a mix of red and blue. But if I perfect charge it, it's just red. It's much more powerful. And the same goes for everything. So the way you know is, as soon as the weapon glows, you have to do this. You have to let go of the weapon as soon as it does. And the same goes for everything. So let me show you a little bit of combo. You can do this and then pull enemies together, and this, and then slam, and then this, or do this. You actually have a lot of options which you can do. You can basically do around 60 to 70% of combos which you would do in the regular mainline Devil May Cry games, but with much less inputs. So for that reason, it's actually quite fun. For anyone who wants to wants to get into Devil May Cry series, this is actually a really good starting point. Now, I know this guy. You might be thinking, for anyone who is new, this looks like old Dante, but this is actually a costume which they added later. The in-game Dante actually has black hair and doesn't wear red clothes at all. He wears kind of like dark blue clothes like Nero does. So, coming to the sound design, it's a Devil May Cry game. What do you expect? Sound design is amazing. So if you haven't played this game, you should definitely give this a try. Oh. So that actually in demon mode, if you press X, you cannot use your ranged weapons, but it becomes a grappling hook. In demon mode, you can pull objects towards you, like I just did. I pulled that platform towards me, and in angel mode, I can just I can pull myself towards that position. So what happens if I actually press demon mode and try to pull myself? It doesn't work. So there are a lot of different areas in the game where you have to mix and match these things. Oh, another thing, this was see, there's a little bit of things that just popped off. Oh, and another thing is, this was actually one of the first Devil May Cry games where there's no loading screen, right? If you're going to one place to another, there's not and loading screen, and there's a small room, and then you beat that enemy, then you go to another room, and there's another loading screen. It's not that. It's a seamless world, and for the most part, you can and there are no fixed camera sections in this game. In the previous games, you had a lot of fixed camera sections, in which in this game you don't. They're obviously invisible balls still, but still good. So if you haven't played Devil May Cry game, this version of Dante, you should actually give this a try. It's actually pretty enjoyable. And look at this. I don't think the latest version of the games do this, but have a look. You can see his eyes. They're moving like a regular person. Now, they actually removed this in the definitive edition, or maybe it's just the console version. But in PC mode, if you're in human mode, your eyes would light up like this. In angel mode, your eyes would go blue. In demon mode, your eyes would go red. So that's a pretty cool feature. I still think Unreal Engine 3 is the best game engine ever. I wish they brought it back, but they won't. And I'm so the conclusion is, if you haven't played the DMC Devil May Cry, you should definitely give this a try. It's actually pretty fun, and it's cheap too. If you're and it actually includes Virgil's downfall. And I must say, they actually did a really cool job of bringing Virgil into it in the universe and making him as OP as possible. Another cool thing is the latest Devil May Cry games actually took a lot of inspiration from this. Okay, not a lot of inspiration, but the ending cinematic where you finish an enemy, it just goes into slow motion. That is back, and they just took the perfect charge mechanics where if you let go of a button for weapons attack as immediately when it's charged, when it glows, you get a beefed up version of it. That's what they used for the for the latest generation for DMC5 game. At least Virgil does. So yeah, and also another thing, if this game, as I said before, they made this game because they didn't think DMC4 was that successful, or they wanted to shift away from that because they didn't get enough funding. So if this game had done, like, this game did do well actually, it scored really good. At least the combat and the presentation did. The story is pretty decent. It's kind of like a dystopian version of our world, if it was filled with demons and something. But the reason that it didn't get the reception it deserved because the portrayal of the characters. And imagine this, if this game had done really, really good and people loved this game, we wouldn't have gotten DMC5. And after this, they tried to test the waters by releasing DMC4 Special Edition, and they saw the reception for it, and then they decided to release DMC5. So in a way, this game actually saved DMC Devil May Cry series. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it.